guys, welcome back. So as you can see by the title of the video, this is a bridal look, and not that I am anywhere near being a new bride at all. I've been married for quite some time, but it's wedding season, so I thought, well, what a perfect time to do a bridal look, especially if there's any brides out there that are looking just for some inspiration. So if you're ready to see how I got this look, then stay tuned for the video. So I was inspired to do this look for a couple of reasons. One, my sister-in-law is getting remarried in a couple of weeks. And two, I'm going to be celebrating my 31st wedding anniversary in September. So I thought, how fun would it be to recreate a look from my, if I was to ever do this ever again, for a wedding day look, and how things have progressed from when I was 19 years old when I got married to now, using some of the skills that I've learned. And the products are totally different from that many years ago, like the things we use now with highlighters and just different techniques. So I thought how fun it would be to recreate a look. So that's what inspired me to do this. I'm going to do a few little things differently that I normally do, because I think it's really important if you're spending the time doing your own makeup on your wedding day to make it a very special time. So a few little things I'm going to do differently. So I've already done my eyebrows with just the L'Oreal. I use the L'Oreal, not the brow. What is it called here? It is a brow stylist definer. So I use that in the shade Dark Brunette. And I've already put those on. But what I'm going to do a little bit differently today is I'm going to put a little bit of carve them out a little bit with concealer, and I think that just makes the eyebrow look a little bit cleaner and more defined. So we're just going to put a little bit of, I'm just using the Maybelline Fit, and I think I have this in the shade, this is just in the shade Light. So I'm just going to put a little bit around here. I just think this really cleans up the eyebrow. The other thing I'm going to do a little bit differently today is I'm going to do my eye makeup first before I do my face, which I know is unusual for me, but I just don't want to take the chance of having any sort of fallout on my face, because that's so much easier to wipe away with a makeup wipe afterwards, after you've done all your eye makeup. So I'm just going to clean these up, and then we will start on the eyelids. And I think that just looks a lot cleaner with the eyebrows a little bit carved out. All of this little extra in here, just take my sponge and just blend that all in. But we're going to be covering that up later on anyhow. So, but it's just trying to get the effect of the eyebrows. I should also let you know that I've already put on my moisturizer. So I've hydrated my face really, really well. I went in today with my favorite, the Marcelle, the New Age UpLift. So I've been using this on a daily basis. And then I went in with the Oil of Olay, the eye cream. This is called the Anti-Age Eye Transforming Cream. And I make sure just that I'm really, really well hydrated under the eye as well, because you want your makeup to be lasting all day. So what the next step I'm going to be doing is, again, something I don't normally do, is put a little bit of extra concealer. Now you can use like an eyeshadow primer, like an eyelid primer. I don't have any, so I'm just going to use my Age Rewind Maybelline, and I'm going to put just a little bit, and that's going to help your eyeshadow stay in place all day, and it's helping to cover up all of those little imperfections that you have on your eyelids, all the little veins, any little redness you have up there. And if you're going to be using any sort of mask, like I love this one, I use this one a lot. It's just a strawberries and cream hydrating mask toning. And I use this just to kind of cleanse my face. You can certainly use a mask. You can certainly use an exfoliating. I have an exfoliating glove that I use in the shower. And I just find that that just is going to take any sort of dryness, any flakiness away, and just give you a smooth canvas to be working on for the day. But make sure that if you're going to be doing anything like that, you're doing it like a day before. If you're if you're going to be using a mask and you're not familiar with the mask, I would make sure that you're using that well in advance, making sure that you're not having any sort of reaction, getting any sort of blemishes coming out, or rashes. So doing anything new, I would recommend doing it several weeks in advance, and then you know that your skin's going to be good to go. So I have the concealer on, that's all prepped. I'm going to put a little bit of powder, so I'm just going to use the Maybelline Fit powder today in Fair Light, and I'm just going to put a little bit of that on my lid. Again, this is just all prepping for the eyeshadow. So when I think of bridal makeup, bridal eyeshadow especially, I think more of neutrals, maybe rosy tones. That kind of screams at me like romantic. So the best palette that I have, that I own, is the Lise Watier palette. And these colors in here are so beautiful if you want to create any sort of look like that. These ones over here, I'm going to be using more of these ones over on this side today. So we're first going to go in. This is this one here in the shade. Just let me see what the shade is. Duvet. So I'm going to first go in with that one and use that as my transition shade. And it is kind of nice today. I'm not having to worry about the fallout, if there is any, but this palette is exceptional for not having a lot of fallout. And I'm just going to put that all over my lid. And I'm going right up into my brow bone area. Okay, so the next two shades I'm going to be going into are these two right here. I'm going to mix them together. They are called Fresh Beige and Cashmere. So I'm just going to take a little bit of each of those, and I'm going to use those in my crease area. Yes, when I look at how much makeup has changed over the years since when I got married, it's quite incredible actually. And all the tips and tricks that you can do. I had a, fairly good idea about makeup. I had been wearing makeup since I was about, I don't know, I guess about 13 I started dabbling in makeup. Just putting a little bit of blush on and maybe putting on some lip gloss. Nothing too heavy. And then as I started getting into more teenage years, then I started dabbling more in mascaras and eyeliners. But yeah, the products that we have now is amazing. I'm just using the NYX blending brush. This is my favorite brush to use for blending. And then I'm just going to go in with Cashmere, and I'm just going to do the outer little portion, the V area with that, and just to darken it up very, very slightly. And then just going with my blending brush and just making sure everything is blended. There's no harsh lines. And I'm going to add a little bit more warmth. I'm going to put in this peachy shade. That is called Golden Peach. And again, I'm just going to put a little bit in my crease area. The nice thing about this palette is the top row is all mattes and the bottom has a little bit of shimmer to it. I'm just doing that in a circular motion. As we get older, it's better to use more of a circular than the windshield wiper. And then I'm going to take this really light color here in the corner. It has a bit of shimmer to it. It's called Luminizer. And I'm just going to put that on the inner part of my eye in this area, the inner portion. Now you can use like a blending brush like this one here and put a little bit of water on it if you want to help it stick better. I'm just going to use my fingers. Oh, that's so pretty. Wow, that is such a beautiful color. And then I'm just going to go in and make sure that's just all blended together again. There's no harsh lines. Okay, so now that I got all of the nice little sparkly eyeshadow in there, I'm going to use this color here. I believe this is called Sateen, and I'm going to use that to do my brow bone. And I'm just using the brush that came in the eyeshadow palette. It's actually quite a nice brush. And then I'm going to wipe off that excess, and I'm going to go back in with the cashmere color again, and I'm just going to put a little bit on that outer crease. I just want it a tiny little bit darker. Okay, so for the eyes today, I'm gonna go in, I don't want a really harsh, black, bold, black, like a black eyeliner look. So I'm gonna use my Lise Watier. This is the Intense Waterproof Eyeliner. And I'm first gonna tight line under my top lid. And this is, make sure when you're doing this that it is a waterproof. Any of your makeup that you're using today, if like your mascara, your eyeliner, any of those products, make sure that they're waterproof. I'm just giving you some friendly advice because I know firsthand that there will probably be tears. That just helps your the top line, give it a little bit of fullness. So this is like one of those little tricks. Okay, so now that I'm done that, I'm going to take, this is the Real Techniques. This is just I believe this is, hold on a second. I gotta get my glasses on. You know I need my glasses. This is the definer brush. So I'm gonna take a little bit on the brush, and I'm going to put that on the outer part. I'm not going to do like a full wink. I'm just going to put a little bit on the outer edge. Okay, so now that that's all done, I'm going to go in first I'm going to curl my lashes. I am going to be wearing falsies today, but I want to put them on actually last, especially if you are not used to wearing false eyelashes. I think it would just help that they are on the least amount of time. And if you're not used to wearing them, and if you're worried about, because as they wear through the day, they can, start falling off. So if you're concerned about that, there is like little individual lashes that you can get, which would be a little bit better, because then if one falls off, it's not going to be noticeable, and your lashes will probably still look similar, very similar. But or you know what, you don't have to do that at all, or you just put on some really good mascara and go about your day. Again, you're trying to make this as natural for yourself, that you're used to, makeup that you're used to wearing, products that you love, products that you trust, especially when you're doing your own makeup. And if somebody else is doing your makeup, I'd really highly suggest going through a trial run with them, showing them some pictures of kind of what you were looking for, and making sure that everything's going to go as smoothly as possible on your big day. So the mascara I'm going to be using today is just the L'Oreal Voluminous Carbon Black. I would really, again, I don't have any waterproof, but I would really highly recommend wearing a waterproof mascara. So I'm just going to put that on. I'm not going to do like a huge job on the mascara just because I am going to be putting falsies on. And I'm not going to do my bottom lashes yet because I'm not completely done until I get all of the face makeup on. And another note is just making sure if you are doing your own makeup, giving yourself enough time to get ready so you're not feeling rushed, especially if you're not used to wearing a lot of makeup. Just giving yourself enough time. If you are just planning on wearing straight mascara, this is a really good one if you're just looking for some volume. And then the other really good one that I have on hand is the NYX, the Worth the Hype. I'm going to use that actually on my lower lash line later when I'm putting that on. But you guys, this is like the best mascara. So these two would be really good if you're just planning on wearing some mascara. And I'll insert, I just did a video on NYX, I'll insert that somewhere up here for you guys, and you can watch that if you want. So we're gonna go in next with just getting rid of all that fallout, if there's any on your face, and just kind of cleaning your face up. So I always use my trusty Neutrogena all-in-one wipes. You can use any wipe that you want. These are just my favorite. And just getting rid of any sort of stuff that fell on your eyes or off your eyes. And it also kind of cleans up that edge on your eyeshadow. So you're going to want to first start off, once your face is all cleaned off now, with a primer. I'm going to use a couple of my favorites today. I'm going to use two because one does one thing and one does the other. So the one primer I'm going to start off with today is the Angel Veil by NYX. I really like this one for just giving me an all over smoothness and just filling in my pores. I would suggest just trying to find a primer that works for you. This is one that just works for me. So I really like this one. Just gets into all of my fine lines, and I'm going to put a little bit extra in my smile lines. And then I'm going to go in with the second primer is the e.l.f. This is the Illuminating Face Powder, or sorry, Face Primer. And I like this one just because it gives me an all-over glow. I know it kind of maybe seems like overkill doing two primers, but again, one does one thing, one does the other, and I do want more of a glowy look today. And there's lots of products at other brands that have, I think L'Oreal has an illuminating primer. I think CoverGirl does have one as well. But again, it's just trying to find the one that works for you. But I like this one because it just gives me an overall glow. And I usually let them sit for about a minute or two before I start going in with some of my other products. And I almost forgot to show you that I do put primer underneath my eyes as well. So you don't get that cakey kind of dry concealer look. Now that that has had time to sit, I'm just going to go in with a little bit of my NYX #ThisIsEverything lip oil. I'm not sure exactly what lip look I'm looking for today. The lid just does not want to come off today. So I'm going to apply that. And that's just going to hydrate your lips really, really well. I don't know if I'm going to wear a liquid, liquid lipstick today or another kind of just a regular lipstick, but I'll decide that at the end. So, but you just want to make sure that your lips are nice and hydrated. When you exfoliate your face, one of the things that I always do is I make sure I also exfoliate my lips. It's just, I think it's one of those areas that people kind of forget about to exfoliate, but that's one of the worst things is when you put on lipstick and then you get those little dry flaky bits that kind of pop up. Those are very annoying. So especially on your big day, make sure you're exfoliating. We're going to go in with foundation now. So I'm going to use two foundations, and I know, and again, people may think that's overkill, but again, it's your big day. So, go out there, try and make yourself as beautiful as you want. So the two that I'm going to be going in with today is the Clinique and also the Marcelle Flawless. This is the Luminous. I've been loving the finish of the Luminous, and I've been using this Clinique one actually quite a bit since I did my first impression video. And it's such a pretty foundation, and you want to make sure that you're going in with a foundation that you're comfortable with. So, that it's going to, like I have a self tanner on today, make sure it is mixing in with, if you do decide to do that tan, just making sure that your foundation is going to match and go seamlessly down all your neck area. So I'm going to go in with this one first. Again, I'm going to be, I think, just a little off on things because I'm used to doing my foundation first. So this will be a challenge for me for not getting around my eye area. So we're going to go in with that one first, and then this one, I'm just going to put a little bit on the back of my hand because I want that luminous look. You guys know I like to be glowy and dewy and all that sort of stuff. So we're going to go in with this one. Just put a little bit on the back of my hand. You can tell I've been using it. And this one is a bit of a thicker consistency, but the two of them look really, really nice together. And then just getting your sponge. I've been loving this new L'Oreal sponge that I got. Oh my goodness, it's awesome. It's great. And just make sure it's damp, not too damp that it's actually water coming out of it, but just that it's nice and damp. And then I'm going to take a little bit of the Luminous one and just kind of go over what I just did. But this finish, it's been really doing a nice job. I don't know if you can see on those brown spots. I usually have to separately conceal those, which I may do. I'll see how well this does. And then I may go in with a separate concealer to do that. I'm just going to take the butt end, take that Marcelle one, and put that on. And you want something that, for your foundation, something that is lightweight, because you are going to be wearing it for a long time. But also something that you are used to. And then I'm just taking whatever's left on the sponge, and I'm just running that down my neck. And then I am going to just take a little bit of extra concealer, just that same Maybelline one I was using earlier. And I'm just going to put it over, especially if this is like your big day. You just want everything covered up as much as you can. Yeah, this color for me, while I have a self-tan, it probably could be just a little bit darker, but I'm not going to go out and buy a whole new foundation. Sometimes when you mix colors, you can sometimes get a different color combination. Just making sure it's all blended really well into your hairline and around like your eyebrow area. Yeah, that concealer, that I can see my eyes a little bit more defined on my eyebrows that when I normally don't do that. Again, this is stuff that I wouldn't do probably on a normal basis, but this is a special day for you, so I would take the extra time and do these little things. Okay, so now that we're all blended, a must for me is color correcting. So if you don't have dark circles, you can certainly skip this step. You're one of the fortunate ones, but I absolutely have to do a little bit of color correcting on these dark circles before I apply my concealer. I'm using just the Lise Watier, the Portfolio, and this is in the shade Peach. The peach tone is going to neutralize that purple color that I have. And I'm just using my finger actually to blend this one in. The warmth of my finger just helps the product blend better. Right, and then I'm going to go in with the concealer. So the concealer I'm going to use today is the Maybelline Age Rewind. I find this is just like the best concealer for me. There are a million other concealers out there, but that you're probably comfortable with, but this is my favorite. I would suggest not making it too light under your eyes. Go with what you're comfortable with. So that's usually about 2 shades lighter than your foundation. And this was in the shade Neutralizer. So I'm just going to actually use this sponge and press it on because I have that color corrector on there and I don't want to wipe that away. That's the one thing about this sponge tip applicator. I know some people don't like it because of the sponge tip, and I think some people actually end up taking it off and just trying to get the liquid out. But I don't mind it actually. And I'm going to also use this to do the rest of the highlighting on my face. So I'm just going to highlight up here in this area here, down the center of my nose. I'm going to get rid of that little dot there. On my Cupid's bow and on my chin. And then I'm just going to blend that all in with my sponge. Another word of advice, if you are getting dressed after you put your makeup on, just a little hint for you guys is to make sure you're wearing like a button shirt, and then that way you can just take that off instead of putting a shirt on that you have to now yank over your head and all your makeup gets ruined. So next up, I'm going to be using powder to set my face. I think that is a really important step when you are trying to get your makeup to last all day, especially on a day like this. So I'm going to be using, again, I'm going to be using 2 powders, and I'll tell you why they do 2 specific things. So I'm first going to go in and do my under eye area with the Maybelline Fit, and I'm just using that little sponge and just taking a little bit under my eye. Now, if you have younger skin, you certainly can do a little bit of baking under your eye, and that will certainly help that your concealer, your foundation stay on longer. Having older skin, I don't think baking is a very good idea, just because it just accentuates all the texturing under the eyes, all those fine lines and wrinkles and all that sort of stuff. So great if you're a younger bride, go ahead. If you're older, I would say kind of skip that. So I'm just using a little bit, and that's just going to set my concealer under my eyes. And then for the rest of my face, I'm going to use the Marcelle, the Luminous face powder. And the reason for that is I just would like a bit of a luminous glow to go along with all the other glowiness we got going on. So I'm just going to get my face powder brush, and I'm just going to dip in a little bit. I don't want a lot, but just enough that my foundation and all my face makeup is going to stay for the rest of the day. And I'm going to apply that too, just on my forehead, down in my center of my nose, anywhere where I put that concealer. And then I'm just going to kind of do the rest here. Again, you're just trying to make, you want your makeup to last all day and look basically flawless. I love this face powder. I've been using it constantly since I did my my Canadian video. And it's such a beautiful luminous glow. Love it, absolutely just love it. Okay, so now that we are all powdered up, we are going to go in with some bronzer. So I have some sad news on the bronzer front. My poor Marcelle bronzer is now all been, it's all flaked away. So I definitely need to go and buy a new one. I've actually put all the little remnants, because to hold it up to you guys, I don't want them all falling out. But I actually have all the little remnants on this little, poor little tab here. So, yeah, I'm sad. So we're just going to go in and bronze really nicely all of the cheekbone area, up on our forehead, just so that we have a nice bronzy look going. So we're going to start off on our cheeks. We're going to go up along our hairline. Sorry, I know I'm holding the mirror in front of you guys. I'm going to go down my neck area, do my jawline. Another important tip if you are doing your own makeup on your day is making sure that you're doing it in front of natural light and not in like some fluorescent lighting or in a dark room, because when you get out now into the natural light, like in daylight, it's going to look totally different than what you actually put on. It's going to look, you're going to be surprised. So just as a tip, just make sure that you're doing it in natural light. So yeah, that's just a helpful hint for you guys. And I'm going to do a little bit on my nose just to kind of balance everything out, and on my chin. We are just going to look nice and bronzy. Okay, next we're going to go in with my favorite blush, the NYX. This is the Baked Blush, and I have this in the shade Wonderlust. It's such a pretty peach shade, and it's suitable for so many skin tones. So I'm just going to put a tiny bit. And then put it right back into my hairline. You guys must laugh when you watch this, because you can always tell in my room, I actually have the door open today, so it's not even getting as hot in here, but you can always tell when I start getting a little bit warm, I get these little little pink spots on my cheeks. Okay, now that we're all nice and bronzy and blushed up, we're going to go in with some highlighter. I highly recommend using, if you're not familiar with highlighting, on your wedding day, I really highly recommend using highlighter. It just brightens your face up, gives you a nice glowy look, and there's again a ton of highlighters out there. I am using today the Lise Watier, and I have this palette here. It's just a beautiful little palette. It's called the Havana Trio Highlighter. I'm going to use two different shades today. So I'm going to go in with this goldy one here and also the pinky one. And you just want to make it a subtle highlight. I wouldn't recommend going like full on, you know, unless that's your thing, going full on, because believe me, I do love highlighter. You're trying to make it just a nice subtle look for the day. So I'm just putting it on my cheekbones, kind of above my brow bone. And then I'm going to run some down the center of my nose area and above my cupid's bow. And another little trick that you could do is once you are dressed and you have your wedding dress on, taking your foundation, after you're done, taking the foundation and running it, make sure you're running it down your neck, and sort of, if you have like an open dress, this like in your neck area, making sure the foundation is all seamless in there, and then taking some highlighter and highlighting on your collarbone area and also down between your cleavage. It just brightens everything up. It will give you just an absolute beautiful look. Okay, so now that we're all highlighted, I'm going to go in with some setting spray, if I can find it here. There we go. It is the NYX Dewy Finish one that I'm using today. So give yourself a generous portion on the face, because again, you want this lasting all day. Okay, now that's done. I'm going to go in and finish my eye look. So I'm just going to use my Real Techniques. This is a base shadow brush, and I'm going to use that brown shade here. I'm going to do my lower lash line, and I'm going to squeeze the brush heads together and do it that way. I'm not going to bring it right across. I'm just going to stop about halfway. And then I'm going to go in with the shade, this one here that, let me just see what color that was again. I have the little swatchy thing here that tells me all the colors. That is called Luminizer, and I'm just going to use that and putting this in this inner portion of my eye, and that's just going to open the eye area up. And I'm going to put it in the inner corner as well. And unfortunately, if you're older and you're doing this, sometimes it does get into these, I have wrinkling kind of in the inside of my eye. So just be careful when you're putting it on the inside of your eye that it's not kind of going down into that area. I'm going to also line my inner rim. So you can certainly go ahead and use black if you want more of a dramatic look. I'm going to use more of a beige shade today because I'm trying to keep this more of a classic wedding day look. But yeah, certainly you can use a black eyeliner. This also, using black, it kind of will kind of close your eye and make your eye look smaller, whereas using more of a neutral shade like this will actually make the eye appear open and more awake. So I'm just going to go, this is the Maybelline, it's called Lasting Drama in the shade Nude. And then on my bottom lash, I'm going to do my lower lashes. Again, I'm going to use that NYX Worth the Hype. I find this is just working so well on my bottom lashes. And take your time doing your lashes. Don't rush. And that way the mascara is just kind of going to get each individual lash. And this mascara, it's not flaky. Doesn't flake on me like at the end of the day. I find it doesn't clump, and again, making sure that it's a waterproof mascara. So I'm just going to quickly put some lashes on. I'm just using the Ardell today. These are, can you see them? These are the Natural 109. So I have already cut them for my eye shape, and I'm just going to apply them. I don't like applying the lashes on camera because it takes me too long, so I'll be right back. Right now that the lashes are on, final step is some lipstick. So I'm going to give you a few different choices that I like. For me, I would stick to more of neutrals. That's just my preference. I think using sometimes darker shades, I'd be a little bit worried about it kind of going into my lines. I have fine lines around my mouth, so I'd be worried about going into those lines there. So if that's you, if you're used to wearing a red lip or any other kind of color, then by all means do that. These are just my choices. So the first one that I like is the Maybelline. This is in the shade Baddest Beige, and this is just this is their color sensational line. So what I like about this one, I think I'm actually going to use this one today just now that I'm looking at it. You don't need a gloss with it, so it just kind of gives you a nice sheen on your lips without any gloss, so I do like this one. The next one, if you're wanting to stay with a liquid lipstick, if that's something that you're used to wearing, then I would highly, highly, highly recommend the Maybelline. These are the Superstay Matte Inks. These literally will last you all day. They're a liquid lipstick, which they can sometimes be drying, but these ones aren't drying at all. They're very creamy on the lips, and they last all day. So again, and there's like a whole bunch of different shades. And then my other one is the CoverGirl Outlast. These ones really do last like they claim they're 24 hours. I haven't used it for 24 hours, I must admit, but these ones would be also another great option. This one is in the shade Honeyed, and this is kind of what they look like. There is a topper that you put on top of it, but yeah, the shade for me, I love that shade. So, but I think what I'm going to do is use the Maybelline, and I'm not even going to use a lip liner today. You can go ahead and use a lip liner. I find with this one I don't need a lip liner. So yeah, those are just some choices for you. Again, if you're not wanting to have to reapply lipstick throughout the day, then yeah, I'd go with something like the liquid lipstick. If you don't mind having to reapply your lipstick, then go with more of a traditional lipstick. So I will be right back. I'm just going to quickly go do my hair, and I'll see you in a second. So I hope you found this video helpful and inspirational, and if you are a bride-to-be, congratulations, I wish you all the best. So as always, I hope everybody subscribes, share, likes, and comment down below of any other types of videos you would like to see, or if you are a bride out there, and let me know how special your day was. Yeah, I hope everybody has a great week, and I'll see you all very soon in my next video. Bye!